Hi, my name is Lucy Burich McNamara, and I'm a Redemptorist Partner in Mission. I organized and facilitate the Partners in Mission Circle here at St. Martin of Tours in Bethpage, Long Island, New York. We are a parish that had been previously served by the Baltimore Province Redemptorists. I came to know the Redemptorists about 22 years ago when I moved to Long Island and was looking to join a new parish. After attending a Mass here, I instantly knew that I was at home and made it so. My children and I have been very active in this parish. I'm a mom of 3, and my children grew up with the Redemptorists and are also partners in mission. I'm a certified public accountant and was a manager at what is now PricewaterhouseCoopers. In college, I earned a minor in art and was the only accounting major that carried an artist portfolio. I'm right-left brain balanced, so I am as creative and visionary as I am practical and procedural, which allows for unique perspectives. Cooper sponsored my MBA at Columbia Business School, where I concentrated in the management of human behavior in organizations, as well as in finance. To be home with my children, I stepped down from public accounting and now manage a seasonal tax practice. As a Redemptorist Partner in Mission, living a Redemptorist missionary vocation means I allow my hope, spirit, compassion, and light to shine in a way that will amplify my gifts and talents to and through the Redemptorists, the living presence of our Redeemer, to maximize the joy and celebration of the good news of plentiful redemption that we collectively bring to those who have a history of poverty, abandonment, and spiritual longing, so that these wounded of our world can experience through our witness the overflowing abundance and wonders of God's infectious love, mercy, and graces. Simply, I want to be the best representation of His love that I can be. The grace of collaboration is at the heart of being partners in mission. Together, a professed Redemptorist and a lay individual are genuinely co-creating without boundaries to act upon a shared mission. Collaboration is moving beyond a preconceived idea of how another individual fits into your own vision. If the desire that one should benefit from collaboration is greater than the focus on the actual mission, or if you are asked to surrender your own vision, the collaboration will not work. True collaboration is a journey based upon relationships. This implies that a trust that can only come with time and a vulnerability, a surrender to each other and to the mission is necessary. In exchange for accepting these risks, the fruits of this grace of collaboration are always more than the sum of its parts. The potentiality is endless. I had already been working with Father Patrick Woods, the last Redemptorist pastor of St. Martin's, on a number of pastoral assignments. Our dynamics changed to true collaboration while working on the creation of this pin that we distributed to all parishioners on the first Sunday of Advent. Standing here by the tabernacle, Father Pat began to instruct me a little deeper on each of the 4 Alphonsian pillars represented in this prayer area, and then expressed his continuing mission to reinforce the Redemptorist spirituality and charism. The idea to create a visual reminder of the 4 pillars, personalized by using symbols within our parish to assure our parishioners of Emmanuel, God with us, as demonstrated in each of the pillars by His crazy overabundant graces and love, was not a project. I understood it to be a mission, and it was an honor to have an opportunity to share my artistic and communication talents to this undertaking. Father Pat knows that I have a great curiosity and that I would further research the pillars on my own, and I did. This was the beginning of an informal but regular discussions of spirituality. Books were occasionally recommended, and he always gladly answered my questions. I will be forever grateful to Father Pat for pushing the limits of my talents and my spirituality in an affirmative, encouraging way. I truly received an extraordinary gift. By seeing the potential in me, Father Pat helped me become the best version of myself. So Father Pat and I collaborated extensively during the transition process. With hindsight, I recognized that this collaboration was in true form to the ideal of partners in mission. Utilizing the same branding of the 4 pillars, the mission of reinforcing Redemptorist spirituality continued and adapted. Stoles that could be used for teaching purposes were created for all Redemptorist priests and deacons that served at St. Martin's. A plentiful redemption video was created, and the most substantial of our projects was the publication of our Plentiful Redemption memory book. I began to speak regularly at our weekend masses as I promoted and organized the various initiatives. My leadership and organizational skills were tapped as I delegated to and coordinated with our parishioners and again with our parish volunteers. My goal for what became a 90-page book was to create a love story while documenting information about the congregation, defining the meaning of plentiful redemption, explaining the spirituality of St. Alphonsus, providing prayers to our Mother of Perpetual Help, and including a brief explanation of the meaning of the icon, and then concluding with written reflections explaining how the Redemptorist charism was experienced at St. Martin's by the Redemptorists that served here, by our deacons, and by our parishioners. As an apostolate of the pen, the creation of Plentiful Redemption was a healing exercise for all of us, as it forced us to pause and reflect in gratitude and wonder on God's love as witnessed through each of our actions for the benefit of the other. What is unique about my experience with organizing and facilitating a Partners in Mission Circle is that the process began months after the Redemptorists turned over the pastoral care of this parish. I had the honor of joining Father Francis Gargani at the North American Secretariat for Partners in Mission Workshop at the Redemptorist Renewal Center. Upon arriving there, I felt that same feeling of home as I felt when I first met the Redemptorists. As I interacted with the various professed Redemptorists, lay missionaries of the Most Holy Redeemer, and Redemptorist associates, I recognized my collaboration and relationship with Father Pat in their witness stories. The Renewal Center's PIM Circle members were gracious hosts and will always be special to me. In them, I again recognize myself, and this time, my fellow parishioners as well. I wanted this for St. Martin's. I wanted us to be witnesses of the Redeemer, continuing in the Redemptorist charism. Grateful for the approval and support of my new diocesan pastor, I began the process of promoting and organizing a PIM while coordinating service opportunities. The Partners in Mission Circle here at St. Martin's has now been active for over a year. My involvement with the Redemptorists has been an organically unfolding experience, and I remain open and adaptable to all aspects of participation in the mission of the Redemptorist family. For now, I continue to share Redemptorist spirituality here at St. Martin's. Our monthly PIM meetings are opportunities for faith sharing and prayer as I present information about a Redemptorist saint or an aspect of Redemptorist spirituality. We collaborated with the vocation director to create a vocation prayer ritual where each member of our PIM circle prayed for and had the opportunity to correspond with a single Redemptorist student. During Advent and Lent, I facilitate a parish morning prayer with other PIM members here in our prayer area and always incorporate aspects of his plentiful redemption when offering brief reflections on the readings. 3 evenings of novena prayers via Zoom were hosted for the Feast of our Mother of Perpetual Help, and the tradition of an annual Mass and individual blessings with relic for the feast day of St. Gerard has continued. We advertise the St. Gerard Mass in the local paper so we reach a broader community and the Mass is always well attended. A blessed medal and informative literature about St. Gerard are distributed to all. This is one of my favorite Masses and is always emotionally powerful for all in attendance. Our PIM group spent the day in community with the Redemptorists at Immaculate Conception in the Bronx, New York, assisting the missionary Sisters of Charity at their shelter and soup kitchen, concluding the day with a Mass back at the church. We also initiated 2 different movements to collect electronic devices so that hospitalized and isolated COVID-19 patients can communicate virtually with their loved ones. I'm excited that Father Francis and I are working to further promote Partners in Mission within our conference and our province via the North American Secretariat for PIM and the Baltimore Province Working Group. This pandemic has revealed to us just how wounded our world truly is. So most importantly, I carry the Redemptorist charism with me into my everyday encounters. I do greatly miss the daily interaction with our Redemptorist community. If I think too long about how, as the facilitator of our Partners in Mission Circle, I am now the face of the Redemptorists here at St. Martin's, I start to feel a pressure of the responsibility. Of course, it is so important for me to get this right. I quickly try to reframe that emotion, remembering Emmanuel, God with us. As long as I continue to speak from a place of love, I'm sure all will be well. Because of how organically this is all unfolded, despite the unique situation of being in a transition parish, while not having a formal theological background, and despite a global pandemic, to have been able to continue our gatherings and service opportunities, I truly believe the Spirit has had a strong influence on all of it, and it is humbling. Leadership is defined as making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence. I am blessed that the Redemptorists of St. Martin's left us with the confidence in and the experience of the Redeemer's presence, trust in the pillars, and a trust in the intercession of our Mother of Perpetual Help, Redemptors, saints, and blesseds. I often think of St. Alphonsus as a model of trusting God. He had the concerns of the whole congregation to carry and could still confidently say, "The congregation is not my work, it is God's work, and God will keep it. Don't doubt it." It is a privilege to have now been embraced by an extended global Redemptorist family who so generously offer me their support and prayers as I worked to create and maintain the PIM Circle here at St. Martin's. In all of my interactions, I have observed that a loop of grace exists with our Redemptorist family. What God has given and has been received is now being passed forward to others. I know that I have been blessed by these interactions. There's a story of 3 bricklayers who were rebuilding a church after it had been damaged by an earthquake. On the first morning of work, the construction architect observed 3 workers on a scaffold with varying degrees of progress and asked each of them, "What are you doing?" The first bricklayer, who had only placed a few rows of bricks, replied, "I'm laying bricks." The second bricklayer, who had placed a few feet of bricks, responded, "I'm repairing a wall." But the third bricklayer, who had just about completed his first wall, replied enthusiastically and with pride, "I'm building a cathedral to the Almighty." This story demonstrates how purpose and mission transforms an individual's attitude and gives higher meaning to his or her work. While some may see a brick, I see a cathedral of hope in solidarity for mission to a wounded world being built in the charism and in the mission with the Redemptorists, who are dedicated to following in the footsteps of the Redeemer, sharing his love and mercy as a light in this wounded world. Come join the Redemptorists and I.
Let us build a house where love can dwell, a house where hands will reach beyond the wood and stone, to heal and strengthen, serve and